family. I cheated the river with Judas. Tearing down the barrel of his gun. Yes, he shot me down. I died and someone brought me back to life, but never to my senses. Bounce on that shit, dance. Bounce on that shit, dance.
Good Friday, you guys. Listen, I know I was supposed to go live, but we're just going to go ahead and do some videos today. Your girl is tired. I got some stories to share from my own, but we're going to get into these stories. We're going to get into stories about orbs and motions, and then it's going to be sleepwalking, or is it really? Staircases built from people out of nowhere. And a lot of other things. Warnings from spirit guides, paralysis, all that good stuff. Yep. We're going to get into it. Now, I decided not to go live. As you hear, I am exhausted, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and make us another video. Let's get into these videos, and then I'll come back with my own story time.
Mind you, these cameras work perfectly fine. Like, I've never had an issue with them. Like, you can change the setting on the detection. Like, if it's a person, a baby crying, or just like moving in general, it'll update you and it'll tell you. So y'all, tell me why I'm at the laundromat or whatever, and I get a notification saying that like my camera had detected some type of movement. So y'all, I'm about to show y'all what the movement was in that video. Okay, so I need y'all to tell me, am I tweaking or am I just seeing stuff? Because my camera never goes off in my bedroom. And for some odd reason, it picked up whatever that was on my camera, and then my alarm went off. Now, that following night, I'm in my room. I'm already feeling just a little bit uneasy, but like, because I've had like ghost experiences and I've experienced shit like this, it didn't really faze me as much, but I was still like a little bit, like I couldn't sleep. So I had to sleep with my light on. So then, why my camera go off again? And then it's saying like it detect like some like obstruction, I think that's the word, or like somebody been moving my camera. Bro, I keep my camera on top of my shelf. There is no way possible that anybody could be moving my camera around or touching that camera. Baby, I was laying in my bed and my alarms kept going off saying that somebody was moving the camera. But mind you, I'm looking up and I don't see the camera moving. So I get comfortable underneath my bed. I'm laying there, I'm chilling. And next thing you know, my camera goes off again saying that there was motion. Baby, my doors was closed and nobody else was in my room. Because at this point, I don't know if I'm just seeing shit. But also, that's why you had to be so careful of what you watch. Because I was watching Beyond Belief. And I don't know, after I got done watching this show, I noticed some weird shit going on. Okay.
Explain it, but this staircase in New Mexico, it might just be a miracle. This chapel has a staircase that should not exist. It has no nails, no center support, and no builder on record. Some say it was made by a saint. Some say it was made by Jesus. Okay, this is one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard. So the nuns built this chapel in the late 1800s. Now, they finished construction, but then they ran into a problem. There was no way to reach the choir loft, which was like 22 feet above. And there was also no room for an actual staircase. Now, they were desperate and they prayed for a miracle. And then a man appeared and he built a staircase that defies physics. And then he vanished. This group of nuns prayed for 9 days straight to Saint Joseph, the patron saint of carpenters. Then on the 10th day, a man showed up with a toolbox and a donkey, and he offered to help. Mind you, he was alone, so he worked alone. And again, he just had a toolbox, so no fancy equipment. It wasn't like a time traveler. Just had these like wooden pegs. And when he finished, the result was like nothing anyone had ever seen. A beautiful spiral staircase with 2 full 360-degree turns. No center pole, like no visible support holding it up. And then he vanished. He didn't even want payment. He just vanished. And the weirdest part, they couldn't remember his name. They couldn't remember if they had even asked. No one knows who he was or how the staircase is still standing. Some think it was some unknown craftsman. Others think it was Saint Joseph himself. So what do you think? Was it a miracle? Or something we just haven't figured out yet? I guess like the pyramids or something? I know there's a lot of like conspiracy theories about the pyramids and how they were built. So could it have been something like that? And this isn't even the only church with a mystery like this. Do you believe in miracles? Like just me asking. asking, do you believe in miracles? Anyway, the staircase still stands in Loretto Chapel, and tourists visit every year. Some for the story, some for the mystery, some to experience the miracle that is this staircase that shouldn't really exist. It's one of my favorite mysteries, but I have tons of other ones. Let me know. Comment down below if you want to hear more like this. We can explore more of the eerie and the unexplained. I'm Candy Cane Lukai, and you should follow me if you like weird mysteries and unsolved haunted histories, etc. Posting some creepy shit every day.
Passed away 7 months ago, saved me from a very terrifying and dangerous situation. My last post was a playful video saying how when I was asleep, I heard whispers. It woke me up, saying that there was danger in the next room. It was 12 a.m. and I'm usually the last person to go to sleep. As I was heading to sleep, things in my room just kept falling. I'm hearing strange noises. I'm looking around and it's pitch black. I'm trying my hardest to go to sleep, but then I start hearing whispers. I look over, my fiance's asleep, my daughter's asleep, and it's not them. The whispers are saying, get up, do not go to sleep, get up, do not go to sleep. But it sounds like this, get up, don't go to sleep. I kid you not. It's like bone chilling at this point. I'm usually very scary. This is when I didn't trust my intuition. Anyways, I tried to fall asleep. I tried my hardest, but I'm not asleep. I'm in the middle of like REM sleep and a deep sleep. And I hear it again. Get up. There's something in the next room. Get up. Story time on how my grandmother who passed away. Part 2 on how my deceased grandmother warns me of danger that's in the room right beside me. After I'm hearing all these weird noises and whispers, get up, don't go to sleep, get up. I still try my best to ignore it, and I try to go to sleep anyways, only for it to get louder. At this point, I'm getting the chills, and I know it's not my intuition. It's not me being sleepy. It's definitely someone who's watching over me. Get up, like loud. Like at this point, it doesn't sound like a whisper, and no one's there. I get chills, and I'm like, I'm finna wake my man up. Wake up. I'm scared. Anyway, he wakes up, and he's like, oh, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, the alarms start going off. Beep, beep, beep. My eyes are big, and I smell a fire. I go downstairs because sometimes what usually happens is like when I'm cooking and I'm tired, I leave the stove on. I went down, I checked everything. Why does it smell like a fire? I'm checking the dryer, the stove, the fireplace. Like, why does it smell like a fire? I do not see a fire, but it smells like a fire. Part 3 and last part of how my deceased grandmother warns me of danger that's in the room right beside me. We run back upstairs and trying to figure out where this smell is coming from. Why does our alarm say fire, and carbon monoxide, but we don't smell or see anything? Everything is off. What is going on? We live in a 3-bedroom. Carlos has an elderly uncle who sleeps in one of the rooms, and the other room is for guests. And Carlos's nephews and other players that comes over and stuff like that. We are knocking on his uncle's room, and he's not opening the door. Could there be a fire in his room and he's just like burning or something? These were the thoughts that was going in my head. We're knocking on the door. He finally comes out and everything's okay. We turn to the kids' room, open that door, smoke engulfs the ceiling. The kids were asleep. We managed to wake them up and get them out of there and call the fire department. But like in a split second, anything could have happened. Luckily, we had a firewall to catch the fire ahead of time. The main cause of it was an iPhone charger from 7-Eleven. After it was over, I seen something that reminded me of my grandma, and that's how I knew it was her. Part 3 and last.
Vibe is set, and once I start, don't eat too much because you gotta stay fun. But come on, bestie, it's story time. Hello, my besties, my babies, my lovelies. I hope I wasn't starving y'all too much, but it's okay because you get to eat now. So go ahead, go get your snack. And make sure you show it to me in the comments too. I want to know what y'all eating. First and foremost, I told you guys about my TV show. For those that want to do it, go on my Instagram. Just follow me on Instagram and you'll find out all the information. I'll be trying not to make the intros too long because I know y'all want the stories, but okay, let me just tell y'all. So for the sake of this story, let's call him Jackson. So this story is kind of crazy because till this day, he doesn't have an explanation for what happened. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, so Jackson gets home from work and he's going about his business like usual. He eats dinner, he watches a little TV, he gets some work done, and he's getting ready for bed. And so he takes his shower, he does his night routine, and he goes to bed and he goes to sleep. So as he's sleeping, he suddenly just wakes up in the middle of the night, his eyes just open. He doesn't know why he woke up, but he woke up. And when he looked at the time, it was 3:23 in the morning. And so he's like, damn, I need to sleep. I got to wake up early for work tomorrow. So he goes to turn over and try to go back to sleep. And so once he turns over, he sees a figure standing at his door, his room door. He freezes. He's like, what the hell? As he's looking at the figure walked towards him. Once the figure get closer, it's a lady. And she doesn't look as scary as she looked 2 seconds ago when it was just like all black and he couldn't see her face. And the lady said, come with me. And what do we call him, Jackson? Jackson is like, no, I'm not coming with you. So the lady reaches her hand out and she says, trust me, come with me. And Jackson is like, I think I am gonna come with you, actually. He doesn't know why, but for some reason, he just trusted her. And so he took her hand and they walked through his living room, out his apartment building, outside onto the street. It feels like they're walking really fast because it's like they're getting fast. They're getting somewhere really fast. So for example, walking from his apartment building down the elevator to the street that they went would have probably took about 10 minutes, but it happened under 2. So she brings him to a tree far from his house. Not too far, but it was pretty far from his house. And the tree was huge. So she brings him in front of the tree. She says to him, the answer to all your questions is right here. And she points in front of the tree. And he had driven by this, part of town all the time. And he sees the tree all the time. But he never really thought he don't really care about the tree. And she reaches up to the top of the tree. It's like she got long. Y'all remember Elastigirl? It's like she got long like Elastigirl. Reaches up to the top of the tree, gets a fruit, gives it to him and tell him to eat it. He's looking at the fruit. He's never seen that kind of fruit before. It's not a fruit that exists, but it's there. Even driving past the tree, he never saw that tree for having fruits. So he's like, I don't think I want to take a bite of that fruit. And the lady's like, take a bite of the fruit. And for some reason, he just obeyed. He doesn't know why he's doing it, but he did it. He took the fruit and he took a bite. The moment he took a bite, he woke up. Exactly, like he woke up, except when he woke up, he was still in the same spot and it was daylight. He's still in front of that tree, far from his house, in his pajamas, and he's just standing there super confused, like OD confused. So he's like, what the hell just happened? So he calls the cops. The cops comes and get him. He goes to the hospital, the whole shebang. And he's trying to tell the doctors, and the doctors are looking at him very crazy. They're trying to say that he had a psychotic, not break, not that it was bad, but they tried to tell him that he basically was sleepwalking, right? And so at this point, he's convinced he's sleepwalking. His family comes to the hospital and, they agree that he was sleepwalking, right? Because he'd been stressed lately, so he figured he probably sleptwalked. Dream was very weird, but whatever. And so he gets home, he gets, what's the name? He gets discharged from the hospital the same day and he gets home, but he has a Ring camera on his door. So he wanted to see so he could show the cops, and his family and stuff, how did he sleepwalk? Except when he checked his Ring camera, he never came out the house. The entire night, the Ring never didn't have any footage of him coming out the house. However, around 3:40, I had to go back to the story and check, but it was 3:30, not 40. Around 3:30, his front door did open, but nobody came out. His front door opened and closed back. And if you remember, when he woke up, it was 3:23 and he tried to go back to sleep. Till this day, he doesn't know how to explain that. He doesn't know, it still baffles him because till this day, people are still saying oh, you probably sleptwalked, you probably crawled under the door or something, but he knows what he saw. The Ring camera captured everything.
To his house, only for you to find out that his house is haunted. Yes, cousins, I am back with another story time. Let's not waste some time and let's get into it. So we're going to call her Trina. So Trina met this guy online and they was interested in both meeting up. So he's like, hey, you want to come to my house? We can make dinner, we can cook. And she agreed. So when she gets there, she also finds out that he has a female friend staying with him and he also has a roommate. It's about 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. when she gets there. She wasn't worried about the friend because she was been his friend since kindergarten. And the other reason why she was there because she was actually leaving out of town and her flight got delayed. So instead of her checking into a hotel, she stayed with him. So they cook and they eat and they end up falling asleep in the living room around 7. Everyone fell asleep around 7 o'clock. So she's still asleep. However, she feels the female friend gets up. She hears her packing up her luggage. And then the female friend comes give Trina a hug before she has to go take her flight. She said the hug felt so warm and it felt so inviting. So after the hug, she wakes up only to find out that everyone, including the girl that hugged her, is still asleep. So now fast forward, everyone does actually wake up because the girl have an early flight. So they say the goodbyes and she actually leaves this time. So the roommate's like, yeah, he has to work early in the morning. So he go gets in the bed and Trina and the guy that she met on social media, they go get in the bed as well. So by the time they get into bed, it's like midnight at this point. So he go to sleep fast. He knocks out, he sleeps, but she's like kind of up and kind of asleep as well. So she started hearing noises and stuff in the house. But one thing that really scared her was the bedroom door to his room creaked open. So he's still knocked out cold. He don't hear anything. And she hear footsteps slowly walking into the room. So as she continued to hear these footsteps, she hear it stops right in front of the bed. So she pauses for a moment and was like, okay, it's a sign of relief, like it's gone. But it wasn't. She felt whatever it was get in the bed on all fours. You know how like someone gets in your bed and you can feel like the impression or like the bed sinking where you know like, okay, it's a person right there? That's how it felt. Mind you, he has a California king bed, so it's a big behind bed that can fit a whole lot of people. So she feel this thing walk up on all fours or crawl up on all fours and get on top of her. As it crawled up on her body and sat on top of her, it started choking her out. So she's trying whatever she can, pushing, swinging to get this thing off of her. However, it's nothing physically there, so she's not hitting anything. The guy is still laying beside her, sound asleep. Because the bed is so big and he's not like directly beside her, she's trying to reach out and touch him. However, she cannot breathe at this point. So she's panicking because she can't breathe and she feels like her chest sinking in and she's trying to catch her breath for air and she just cannot catch a break. So she ended up just pleading the blood of Jesus and eventually it stopped. As soon as it got off of her, she immediately gasped for air and she's like 100% awake at this point. After she caught her breath, she did not go to sleep the rest of the night. She stayed up all night. The morning comes and he wakes up and she asks him like, hey, is your house haunted? And he's like, no, why would you ask that? So she said she did not tell him what she experienced that night. She ended up telling him she had to go to the bathroom, but instead of going to the bathroom, her Uber was already outside and she left his house. She has never talked to him again, and to this day, he still don't know why she just up and left his house the way that she did. But again, if you guys have any stories that you want to submit, make sure that you guys DM it or you email it to me to the email that's in my bio, okay? Enjoy this one.
All right, y'all. So this is one of my personal stories. So I'm not sure if I shared it on here or not, but I'll share it. A year after my mom passed, I was going through a lot of stress. And what basically happened was one morning after work, I was laying in bed and I couldn't move. And it just felt weird. So I just heard my mom voice saying, pray. Don't forget what I taught you and pray. Just pray. Keep praying. And she started repeating Psalms. I forgot what chapter, but she was repeating it to me. And as I walked through the shadow of death, I fear no evil. She was just repeating it. And she was like, just be calm and repeat it. I started feeling the calmness. And when I woke up, y'all, I felt like I was only asleep for hours. Tell me why I was asleep for 30 minutes. And there was a picture of my mom on this table we had. And all I know is I just felt her smiling at me. All right, you guys, so that's the end of Scary Stories for today. I promise we'll be live again next week, but we for sure will be live tomorrow for Lit Live Saturday. And we're also going to be live. I'm going to cover the Brene and Tim situation. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
It's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally.
Birds singing in the dead of night.